So Esther has been so eager, just lapping up this business of path of least resistance. She's decided to give herself permission to do what feels best to her. And she's decided not to try so hard to get everybody else to affirm with her that it is the right thing to do. In other words, would you please validate me and confirm with me that this decision that I've made is the best for everybody? That's not how it works. You can't decide for everybody. You can only decide for yourself, you see. So Esther's been listening to us. She listens to us. She can't hear us as clearly as you do under these conditions, but afterward she listens to every word we speak, sometimes many times, as she's processing recordings and listening. So Esther is listening to what we're saying about path of least resistance, and she's beginning to feel stronger and clearer and more ready to serve herself, more ready to do the things that feel best to her, and more willing to not try so hard to figure out how everybody else is going to feel about the thing that she's decided. Because when she tries to figure out what you or anyone thinks about what she's decided, then she introduces resistance to her path, and then she doesn't have clarity, and then she wants to blame you or whoever it is. So she made a few decisions recently, sort of tiptoeing down the path of least resistance. Oh, that feels good. Oh, yeah, that feels good. Oh, that really feels good. Oh, I really think I'm on the path. So then after the seminar last weekend, she went with a friend here in Los Angeles, over in Glendale, to a restaurant, took her beautiful new Denali. So beautiful. 2015, black, shiny, gorgeous, everything that you would want on it. So she drove to the restaurant and pulled into the valet parking place and asked where the restaurant was, and he said it's about 3 lights down. Well, that seemed a little too far to walk, so they decided to drive it. So they drove down. It wasn't 3 blocks, it was only a half a block, and there was a parking garage, and so they drove through the parking garage because it seemed fun. And Esther thought, oh, I think I'll just go back and give it back to the original valet parker. He'll think that's funny when I show up again. So she went right through the parking garage, beautiful parking garage, came out the other end of it, pulled right back to the valet parker, and left the car. Walked with her friend and sat there all afternoon. Had wonderful food, wonderful conversation, figured everything in the world out. It was just delicious. And then she went back, and her car was parked on the street, not what she expected. And she said, oh, there's my car. And then she said, no, it isn't, as she noticed there was a big blue tarp over the back of it. No, that's not my car. Oh, that is my car. Oh, that's my car. And the valet parker, man, boy, child, standing there, Esther was certain he would look green. He looked green. He was green. And Esther said, that is my car. And he said, your car did something crazy. It opened the back window as I was parking it, and it sort of tore the back window off. And Esther said, I can see that. I can see that. That's interesting because my car has never done anything like that before. It's never done anything like that before. So he gave her a form. Esther is laughing because she knows that she creates her own reality. And she can hardly wait to figure this one out. Because it seemed like this person did this to her. This perfectly beautiful car, she put it in the hands of this perfectly, formerly capable looking person, and he managed to rip the back window off the thing. And so, as Esther is thinking about it, no problem, it drives. She drove back to San Diego in it with friends. It was very loud. And they were laughing and having a good time. And now it is in the repair shop, and it will be repaired, and it will be as good as new. But here is the thing that Esther understood with a little bit of pondering. Yes, it's easy for me to take the path of least resistance, because the path of least resistance is really clear to me as it unfolds. I can feel it. And we're going to show you how to feel it too as we're moving forward here today. I can feel it. But then there's a tendency, once you've taken what you know for sure at the time you took it was the path of least resistance, that you begin to collect other information from others who are not approving of the path of least resistance that you took. And then you sometimes, nearly every time, look back, Esther did it for sure, and try to justify your taking your path of least resistance by pointing out why it was important that you took that path. And we said to Esther, as she was visiting with us about it, she sat down all light and happy, really, and wanted to know, so, you dead ghost, what do you have to say about this? And we said, we think it is wonderful that you are taking the path of least resistance. And we love how good you feel when you are doing it. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would spend no time looking back in any sort of justification of anything that you have decided, because that'll get your back window blown out.